Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to our today's session. My name is Isangoi. Yeah, welcome. Today we are going to talk about 10 Cisco projects or Cisco labs that you are going to do. So it's very, very basic, right? They're basic stuff that you know already what to do. You went through some theories and now you have to practice, right? We're going to start from lab number 1 up to lab number 10. Make sure that you got Packet Tracer installed. And if you got some difficulties, don't hesitate to contact me. I will assist you, right? For any difficulties, don't hesitate to contact me. You got my email address. You're going to check the link below, right? Okay, let's start to our projects. Let's start our project number 1, all right? Let me try to share my screen, guys. Okay. Yeah. First, before even moving to practicals, you need to understand this. These labs will allow you to complete your CCNA 1, right? And I will allow you to write your exam and move to CCNA 2, right? You know that the whole CCNA certification got 3 courses. So you have to do CCNA 1, CCNA 2, and CCNA 3. So if you can reproduce those 3 labs or 3 labs from those 3 courses, you're already fine. You're already ready for you to write your international examinations. But for every CCNA, there is a certification of completion, right? But for now, we are going to do CCNA 1, and we do have 10 labs, right? Let's start with lab number 1, how to connect 2 computers, right? We're going to use like our simulator Packet Tracer, right? So let me go to new. So we're going to see how to connect 2 computers, right? You have first to write some notes. You click on place notes. You type on lab 1, how to connect. So computers, right? Yeah. So what you need 2 PCs, right? 2 computers. You go downstairs, down to end the devices. You click once. You drag and drop 2 PCs, right? When you are done, you must look for cabling, right? But what I want you to understand is at the steps that we are going to use. We're going to use 3 steps. So the first step, step 1, is cabling. Step 2, IP address or addresses. And step 3, we are going to test the connectivity between the devices, right? Now, we are looking for a cable that can connect this PC0 to PC1, right? Which type of cable that we are going to use? Let's use a crossover cable. So you click on connection, you choose crossover, you go to PC1, you click once, you go to fast Ethernet, you go to PC2, you click once, right? Fast Ethernet means the network interface card, right? So what you must do now, from here, we have to move to step number 2, that is IP addresses. So we are going to assign those computers like IP addresses, right? On this one, we are going to assign 192.168.2, and on this one, 192.168.1.3, right? And slash 24. Slash 24 means a subnet mask, right? So what you need now to do, you only click on the first computer, you go to desktop, you go to IP, you punch your IP, 192.168.1.2, and you click on subnet mask, right? The subnet mask will come automatically. When you are done, you go to PC number 2, you click once, you go to desktop IP, you punch its IP, you can see it here, right? 192.168.1.2. 192.168.1.3. Subnet mask. All right. So step number 2 is done. Now you have to go to step number 3, that is testing the connectivity, right? For testing the connectivity, we're gonna use the command ping, right? Ping. So this is the command for testing the connectivity, and you have to go where you have to go to CMD. So you go to every computer, like at this computer, you click on command prompt, and you have to ping. You're gonna type ping the destination computer. What is the destination computer? 192.168.1.2. 8.1.2, press enter. Right? So you are going to see the reply from the destination PC, from this PC, right? So ping means that you are sending a specific packet to the destination computer, and the destination computer will do what? Will reply, right? But the most important information for now, what you need to understand, you have to check here. This packet sent 4, you received 4, lost 0. So the connectivity is fine, right? So those are the 4 packets that you've sent, right? And you received 4. So the connectivity is fine. So this is how to connect 2 PCs, right? You've got 2 computers, you have your cable. This cable that we are going to use is a crossover. A crossover. This is a crossover cable, right? This is a type of cable that you need to use. Why? Because we are dealing with what? Same devices, right? So PC to PC, crossover cable, right? Because we are dealing with same devices, right? PC to PC, crossover. But if they are different, you're going to use what we call a straight cable, right? Yeah, this is at the end of our lab number 1. Let's go to lab number 2. You can click on File, New. What is lab number 2? How to connect multiple computers using a switch. You click on network devices, you click on switches, you take the first one, 2960. You can try maybe 3 computers. You click on connections, because now we want what? A cabling. Which cable? You have to remember, right? You're gonna use a straight cable. Why straight? Because different devices, right? You click there, first the channel. So to any port you can plug from the switch, right? First Ethernet, and you are done, right? So from the cabling, from step number 1, step 1, cabling. Step 2, IP addresses, and step 3, testing, right? So cabling, we are done. Now we have to assign IP addresses to these computers, right? So there we're gonna put 192.168.1.3, let's say /24, and here we can put 192.1.4/4, and here 192.168.1.5/24, right? What you must do, you click on this computer, a desktop IP. So its IP is 192.168.1.3. You click on subnet mask, it's gonna come automatically. You do the same to the second one, 192.168.1.4. All right. You do the same to the third one. That was 192.168.1.5. So it's here, you can see .5, all right? 5.5. Yeah, and the last step, testing the connectivity. You can try to understand if this computer can communicate with this one. You can only click on this computer. You go to command prompt. You must type ping. You click once, ping destination computer 168.1.5. You wait for the reply, right? So you can see this is our reply, and you can check from here. Packet sent 4, I received 4, lost 0. So the connectivity is fine. But later on, we are going to see how to modify all those information, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that is how to connect multiple computers using a suite. So from here, you can add some other computers, right? You can bring like those 2 computers and you can connect them, right? So, and you can assign them your IP addresses, right? Let's move to lab number 3. You click on File, New. Okay, lab number 3 is how to configure a DHCP server, right? How to configure lab number 3. DHCP server. You know that DHCP stands for what? Dynamic host configuration protocol, right? So DHCP means dynamic host configuration protocol. What does it mean again? So it means assign IP addresses automatically or dynamically. Right? So this is what does it mean. So we are going to assign like our IP addresses automatically to our devices. So instead of us going manually, right, to assign like every device an IP address, that will take time and we can do mistakes, right? Suppose like you do have 1,000 computers. Are you gonna go to every computer and start punching the IP addresses? You can do so, but you're gonna end up having what? Mistakes, and it's gonna take you time. Why not configuring one device that can assign other devices those IP addresses? And that device, we are going to call it DHCP server. That device can be a router, so it can be a wireless router or a modem, right? Or a particular PC, right? But because it's going to support a lot of requests, it's better to use like a particular server that will do that particular job, right? So what you must do, you're gonna need a server. You click on end the devices, you drag and drop the server. You're gonna need like a switch, you click on switches, and we can drag and drop 2 pieces here. And the connections goes over fast Ethernet. You can plug it wherever you like. Okay, and this one too. Yeah. So what you must do now, this server must have a static IP. Server must have a static IP, right? By itself, this server must have an IP address. And we can put this one for our server, right? So you have to assign your server an IP address first. So the device that's going to behave like a DHCP server requires a manual IP, right? You click on server, you go to desktop, and IP, you're going to punch that IP that you've chosen, right? You are done, right? Now, when you are done, you know that like a server can play different roles. Like, let me write it down. So if I can play different roles, right? Like Dhcp, right? And those roles, we can call them services, right? So you have to configure it, right? You go to your server. This time you're going to click on services. Those are the services for this simulator that we can configure. You have to go to the service that we are looking for now. We are looking for Dhcp. You click on Dhcp, and that service must be what? Must be on, right? And from here, you're going to look at the interface or the port where that cable is plugged, all right? Now, that service must be on, and the pool name, you can give it a name, right? And if you have a default gateway or a router that allows you to connect to other networks or to the internet, you can put that default gateway here. But for now, there's nothing. And you have to precise the start IP address. What does it mean? The first component, which IP we are going to assign to the first device that's going to be connected to the Dhcp server. We can pick up, you can choose 192.168.1.2. So you have to precise the IP address of the first device, and you have to save it, right? And when you are done, you go to every device now. What you must do, you click only on that particular device, you go to desktop, you go to IP. At this time, don't use static, you only click on Dhcp, right? And when you click on Dhcp, you're gonna see the IP, that first IP will come automatically. You go to the second device too, you do the same, you click on IP, you go to Dhcp, right? Yeah. So this is how we can configure what we call a Dhcp server, right? So step number one, you assign your device, that server, like an IP address. Step number two, you configure the services, you look for Dhcp, you put it on, and you have also to precise the name or the name of the pool, and you need to precise the IP address of the first device that's going to be connected, right? And when you are done, you have to go now to every computer. You only click on automatic or dynamic, right? You only check, and those computers or those devices will get the IP from the server, right? Okay, let's move forward. Let's go now to lab number 4. Lab number 4, how to access a Cisco switch and to move between mode, right? File, new project, how to access a switch, right? Lab number 4, number 5, let me check. Lab number 4. How to access a switch, right? Very easy. What you need to do, you need your switch, right? You click on switch, you drag and drop one switch here, you drag and drop one PC. This time around, we're gonna use what I would call a console cable, this one. So this is a console cable, right? A blue cable, right? This one, right? So LG45 will take to the switch, and this serial connectivity will go to your computer, right? So you need first a console cable, right? And besides the console cable, you will need your switch. Okay, let me look at my switch first. Left it. Let me look at my switch first. Okay. This is my switch, right? So if you look at behind, there is a port here that we call a console, right? This one. This is the console port. This one, right? The console. So this is where you are going to connect this. You are going to connect it here, the console cable, right? And you are going to put this one. You go to your PC, you plug, right? So let's move on. Oh, I'm giving me a headache here. Yeah, let's move forward. Now, from our simulator, I'm going to pick up the console cable. You go to your PC, you connect to the serial connectivity. It's RS232. You go to your switch, you connect to the console, right? But if your PC doesn't have a serial port, you must buy an adapter. That adapter will be converting USB to serial, right? And when you are done, you need an emulator. Your PC must have an emulator such as this, like this one, this party. So it's one of the emulator that you can download, right? And you have to run it. When you are done with the connectivity, you have to run it. Now, because we are using the simulator, you can click on your PC. You click on desktop. This time we go to terminal because we want a terminal, right? Oh, I was typing, no. We want a terminal, not an emulator, a terminal, all right? Now, you click on your switch. Where is it? You click on your PC, you go to terminal, you click OK, and you go down here, all right? You need to press enter, right? And from here, you're already in, and you can move between mode, right? And the mode that you do have, you are going to notify them by this symbol, superior. So when you are dealing with this one, we're talking about user mode, right? And this one, we're talking about user mode. And this symbol shows that we're talking about a privilege mode. And there's another one. That's gonna be like this one. So this is the configuration mode. So we are going to see how to move from user mode to privilege mode and go to configuration mode, right? So which command you are going to type for you to move from user mode to privilege mode? Very easy. The command is you type, there you're gonna type enable, right? All right. So when you type this command, okay, let me put it in brackets. You're gonna move towards to the privilege mode, right? So, and when you type from the privilege mode, like exit, you can go back to the previous mode, right? So let's do it, right? Enable, you move from the user mode to the privilege mode. when you want to go back to user mode, you can type exit, right? Again, enable, exit, enter, enable, right? Now, for you to move from privilege mode, right? From privilege mode to configuration mode, there is a command. So you're gonna type configure terminal, right? Let's do it. You go to your PC, okay? You're gonna type configure terminal, right? So it can be lowercase or uppercase, right? There's no problem. You press enter. So this is how to move from user mode to privilege mode and to configuration mode. So first command you type enable. Second command, configure terminal. And the third command, second command, enable, you move to privilege mode and you type configure terminal, you move to the configuration mode. And when you want to go back, exit. You can exit, you can come back one step back, and you can again exit, right? So from different modes, we are going to see what you can do, right? What can you do in different modes, right? But for now, I wanted you just to see how you can access your switch, right? You can even change like the name of the switch, but we are going to do it later on, right? Okay, let's go to lab number 5, how to protect your console port with a password, right? From the same one, how you can protect your console port with a password. You know that when there is no password, so anybody can bring its own console cable, plug to your switch and access the device. So I can bring my laptop with my console cable, I can plug to your console cable or to your switch and access the configuration. So what you must do, you must protect it with a password, right? And what are the commands that you must use? So you must use line console 0, because this is the name of the console port. So you type line console 0. So you are telling the switch that when I go to line console 0, so and you type the keyword password. You can say Cisco, and you say login, right? So those are the 3 lines that you have to type, or 3 commands. Line console 0. So you are telling the switch that I want to configure my console port. Line console 0, you move and you say my password will be Cisco. Login means you have to pop up a particular box or screen so that the users can punch the password, right? So just basically, right? So what you must do, let's do it. You go to your PC, you go to terminal, right? You're gonna do it now. You must press like enter, right? You have to understand that you have to use like all those commands before moving to this one. So you must start with the first one, enable, configure a terminal, right? So you must be in configuration mode for you to use this particular command, right? So in order for your switch to execute your command, you must be in configuration mode. Now you type line console 0, password Cisco, press enter, and you say login, right? So this is how you can set up a password for your console port. And for you to test, right, you must exit, right? So I can exit once, you exit again, press enter, exit again, press enter, You see, they will ask you your password. So what you must do, you need only to punch your password. But the password that you're gonna put, it's going to be the one that you decided, but it's not gonna be visible. Just type it. Right? See, so this is how to access a password switch, right? So it can be like one guy who can bring his own computer and trying to connect, right? See what's gonna happen when you go to this computer. So you go to desktop and you go to terminal, you press what? Okay. When you're gonna press like, okay, let's say, okay. Oh, we wanna go to terminal, right? Exit. Okay. You punch password and you are in, right? Yeah. Now let's move to lab number 6. How to assign an IP address to a port using graphical user interface. Oh, there is also remote protection. For remote protection, the command is very easy. So for remote protection, we are using same command, but you are going to change. Where there is line console, we're gonna say line VTY 0 to 4 maybe. So the command is the same. This one is physical protection, right? And this one is remote protection. So instead of typing line console 0, you're gonna type line VTY, virtual line, and you're going to allow 4 connections, because I can access your switch, but there's no need for me to be there physically. I can access it via the internet, right? So you have to protect the remote connectivity, right? Now, what is the command? It's line VTY, and you precise how many people can access simultaneously that particular switch. So 0 to 4 means that line 0, line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4. That's going to be 5 people who can access simultaneously that particular switch. So you can be 5 technicians, one in Durban, one in Pretoria, and so on. All of you can access simultaneously a switch, right? And let's do it. You can only go to your switch. You go to terminal, right? So this time around, you say line VTY 0 to 4. So, and you say password Cisco 1, and you say login, right? Very easy, right? Yeah, let's move now to lab number 6, how to assign an IP address to a port, right? Like here, right? Let's just start a new project. So let's say you have like a switch, right? And you got your PC and you install a cable, right? You want to assign, you see when you click once, like on your switch, right? You see, those are the port. How many port? 26, right? So 24 fast Ethernet and 2 gigabit Ethernet, right? So 26 port. For every port, you can do basic configuration. So when I can click on fast Ethernet 0/1, so I can put it off, so I can change the bandwidth, so I can change the duplex, and I can work on VLANs, right? So what does it mean? This particular switch that you can see here, you can configure those ports. Those ports will have specific name, like port number 1, it's gonna be fast Ethernet 0/1, right? Port number 2, we call it fast Ethernet 0/2, right? The 0 means slot 0, right? So on slot 0, there are 24 ports. So you can say fast Ethernet, slot 0, port number 1, right? Fast Ethernet, slot 0, port number 2, right? And when you want to configure it, you have to precise the port, right? So when you are like here, like when you go to your PC, let's say you want to configure, right? So you can go to terminal, right? When you want to configure that particular port, right? Let's exit first. You have to precise the whole sentence or the whole comment. You type interface fast Ethernet 0/1, right? 0/1, right? So, and we are going to see how to configure some of the things on this interface, right? So you can change like the speed or bandwidth. You can say like 100, and you can shut it down. You can say shut down, right? You can shut it down, right? And you can exit, right? So when you want to configure like a particular port, you have to type it. What? So if you are dealing with a gigabit Ethernet port, you're going to type interface gigabit Ethernet, maybe 0/2, and you press enter. And you can set up like the speed, and you can say, you can shut it down, right? So this is how you can work on those switches, right? And you can assign a virtual LAN a particular IP addresses, right? Let's move to lab number 7, how to create VLANs, right? How to create VLANs. Oh, we did a lot of things, eh? How to create VLANs, right? So let's say lab number 7, lab number 8, lab number 9, and lab number 10 will be for our part number 2, right? So for now, like for today, I will be obliged to stop like here, right? And next time I will continue from where we stopped, right? From lab number 7, how to create VLAN, how to assign port to specific VLAN, how to verify configuration and save, how to access wireless router, right? So thank you very much. For any difficulty, don't hesitate to contact me, right?